Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back. Already got 30 people in here. I'm excited for this stream. We got a lot to talk about. Hope everybody had a good day in the market. Before we even get started with anything, I want to say ahead of time, on a lot of my streams, regardless, I always, place a lot of emphasis around the fact that there's no certainty in technical analysis. You have to manage your risk, and that nothing I say is financial advice. I just want to remind everybody about that again. I'm sure you all know, but this stream, there's a lot of times when you don't have a technical edge for stocks, for the market, for Bitcoin, and then there's other times when you do, right? So on this stream, especially for the last couple of weeks, I've been pretty neutral. I've just been saying, I could see things going either way. I was bearish for a little bit. Remember that first Monday that the S&P sold off, I was saying that I thought we were going to sell off again after a little bit of a relief rally. That played out perfectly so far. But now we are getting some edges, and on this stream, I'm going to be a little bit more, I'd say, just direct my feelings about the market. Again, I don't know what's going to be happening next, but I just want to put this all ahead of time. So I don't have to say not financial advice every single time I say something this stream. So just saying it in the beginning, nothing said on the stream is ever financial advice. But tonight I will be giving a little bit more of my input, more input than usual in terms of how I feel about what's going on with Bitcoin, the stock market, with CLOV, with a bunch of other tickers. So just want to put that in the air right now. And yeah, hopefully everybody's doing well. What's up? JG, Barasan, the guy, Linta Glen, Cheese, Spack Invader, Simply Sung, Laid Back One, and then Cheddar Freeze is back from vacation. Let's get some vibes in the chat for Cheddar Freeze. A lot of the times we have the intro song that Cheddar Freeze made. It's just a little bit hard for me to put it on every single night because I have to open up a different application to play that because I'm playing all my other music on Spotify. But let's get some vibes in the chat for Cheddar Freeze, who's just always working super hard in the Discord, providing everybody with just education and value. So yeah, just want to say that as well. And let's talk about Bitcoin. It's pretty close to the first target. I think it was just about a couple weeks ago that I put out the alert for Bitcoin. Entry was around 43.5K, and it's almost at that first target. I believe it could hit that first target pretty soon. Hopefully it does, and it doesn't top out here and then sell off again. That would suck. It actually happened to the Litecoin trade we had like in the beginning of the month or the beginning of last month. So Bitcoin is currently about 2% away from the first target, which would be a 15% gain in a couple weeks. Currently, the trade for Bitcoin is up about 13% since the entry. So very, very strong despite what's happening in the US market and the Chinese market. I actually don't know how the European markets are going right now. I haven't looked at them, but despite what's happening in the overall equities markets, Bitcoin is just shining. Some other altcoins are shining. And it's really cool to see that. So again, we had that hidden bullish divergence, the bullish Gartley, the quadruple bottom, if you really zoom in, off of 41K. And it finally broke above 46K, which was the 200-day moving average, or 45K. And now it's testing 50K, just a very psychological level. We can break above 50.4K, which is an important level from the past. There's not much resistance left until like 60K. So between like 51K and 60K, or 51K and 59K, there's not a lot of turbulence. But you still want to watch what your oscillators look like if/when Bitcoin gets above 51K. All right. But yeah, we also have some other altcoin trades. I already talked about last night, the thesis behind them because I shared them on Friday afternoon. I'm just going to give an update on how they're doing. The Zcash trade is up 4% since the entry. The OXT trade is currently up 4% since the entry as well. And the UMA trade is currently up about 2% since the entry. At one point, it was up like 10%. So yeah, you do have that hidden bullish divergence on the daily, and we'll see how it does. That's pretty much it for crypto. I mean, Q4 last year is when Bitcoin really took off. I mean, we can just kind of go back in time, and we'll go to October 1st. So if we just take a look at this, I mean, come on. This was pretty much, let's see, this is pretty much Q4 of last year, right there. And that's really when Bitcoin had the crazy run to a new all-time high. So just, seasonality. I mean, we're definitely seeing seasonality in the stock market, which I'm going to talk about shortly, but we'll see. I mean, Bitcoin's technically just been at the same price since like literally February. Bitcoin was at 50K in February. It's still at 50K. Now, of course, it's gone higher and lower in between then, but for the most part, there hasn't been too much of a difference compared to where it was a year ago, right? So we'll see how Bitcoin can continue to move. RSI is not even close to overbought, and that's pretty much what we got for crypto tonight. Keep hitting that like button. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Let's talk about the stock market now. Probably gonna spend a little bit longer than usual talking about the market because, again, if you're a trader, I know a lot of new traders only look at individual stocks and don't care about the overall market. That's not good. I mean, you want to be aware of what the overall conditions are looking like, both from a technical standpoint and from a fundamental standpoint. We talked about a lot of fundamental things on this stream. The first time we had that sell-off on September 20th, so I'm just going to mainly talk about technicals this time around. But yeah, there's a lot of things developing on the overall market right now. So I'm really excited to just break everything down and give my thoughts as to what the market looks like. So I'm actually going to start off with I'm not going to say small bear case, but the bear case that there is, that I see. And then I'm going to kind of spend more time talking about the bull case that I think is maybe starting to develop for the overall market. In terms of the bear case, it's pretty clear you have a head shoulders. Okay, so on the S&P, you broke down from your neckline, and then on Friday you retested your neckline as a resistance, and then today you sold off again. What is that pretty much known as? A break, hook, and go, right? You had your break, you had your hook, and now you're having your go. All right, you broke down, you retested your previous breakout area, and then you went to the same direction. There could be a bearish break, hook, and go, or a bullish break, hook, and go. So yeah, this is a very real head and shoulders with a very real potential break, hook, and go. Same type of thing for the NASDAQ. You had your break, you had a hook on Friday, and then today was kind of your go. So that's really the bearish thing that I see. I don't really see much that's bearish apart from just that structure on the chart. Now, keep in mind, Mitch Ray talks about this all the time. Bearish patterns can underperform in bull markets. And if you look at Bulkowski's research, a lot of his research talks about how specific patterns perform on average in bull markets and in bear markets. And that's important, right? Because your patterns are telling you about the psychology of traders, how people are trading, and because humans are predictable. Now, humans are, again, predictable when the market has overwhelmingly bullish conditions or bearish conditions. And since the COVID crash, we've had overwhelmingly bullish conditions. Can things change around? I'm sure at some point they will. Is this the time? I don't know. But we're going to talk about what I'm seeing from a bullish standpoint in general. Just going back to, I think, was it 20th last Monday? No, I think it was 2 Mondays ago. So on this day when we had our first pretty large sell-off, I mean, at one point on that day, we were down almost 3% on the S&P 500, which is a very bad day for the S&P. Not a normal day, not even a normal red day for the S&P. It's pretty extended. On this day, I went live and I talked about how I thought we were going to have a short-term rally. I thought we were only going to rally up to fill this gap. We ended up going a little bit higher, but I said on that stream that I thought, whatever rally we saw off of that level was not going to be that strong. And you kind of broke down again. Then I think towards the end of last week, we were talking about that previous low for the S&P 500, looking at that as support. And it held it for last Thursday and kind of on Friday. Today it did close under it, right? So that's really where we are right now. So we did get that short-term rally that just underperformed like I thought we would. Now we're selling off again. And my overall gut feeling about the market is that there could be a little bit more selling, but I think we're going to be getting a bounce here shortly. I don't know, I think. And I'm going to explain that a little bit further when we go over to lower time frames. But yeah. So let's just take it index by index. We're going to start off with the S&P because we're already on the chart. And let's look at the bullish potential technicals. First off, on the RSI, on the daily. Potential classic bullish divergence on the daily RSI. Okay, let's just look at the RSI level in general. Lowest level that the S&P has seen on the RSI since the COVID crash. Okay, and if we zoom out, it's very rare to see the S&P actually get oversold. It's very common to see stocks get oversold, but for the S&P to get oversold, it's pretty rare. It happened in 2015, barely even happened in 2016. It happened in 2018, a little bit of a bear market towards the end of, I think, 2018, and then obviously the COVID crash. But other than that, we really don't get oversold that often on the S&P. It happens. I'm not going to look at the averages over the last few decades, but you can just see from here it doesn't happen that much. So in general, we're at the lowest level we've seen on the RSI since the COVID crash. Of course, there are fundamental concerns, but definitely not the same concerns we had during the COVID crash. So that's just the daily. You don't really have anything on your daily MACD to really talk about. Then if we go over to the 4 hour, what do we have here? On the 4 hour for the S&P 500, we have a descending broadening wedge, okay? We have classic bullish divergence on the 4 hour MACD and RSI. We've seen this before this year, and it's gone pretty well. That's all I'm gonna say. So 4 hour bullish divergence on the indices could be good. That's, you know, my main read right now. I mean, if we take a look at right over here, this was the last time you had 4 hour classic bullish divergence on the S&P 500. It was right over here. It was pretty much about Class B classic bullish divergence. You made about the same low on price, and that was the bottom, and you went much higher. So I don't know if there were any other times. I think there was some on the NASDAQ. But yeah. All right. So you have 4 hour classic bullish divergence. Now on top of that, you have 1 hour classic bullish divergence on the MACD and RSI. So basically on your 1 hour and 4 hour, you have classic bullish divergence on the S&P. And if we look at the S&P on the 1 hour, you have the PCZ of a bullish shark. You at first had the bullish cipher, the X-ray goggles called out in the Discord. That pretty much played out very nicely. And now we've gone down to about an 88% retrace or an 86% retrace. And now you're at the PCZ of a bullish shark, which you actually did kind of bounce off of today. Maybe it goes a little bit lower to actually tap an 888 retrace or an 886 retrace. But just in this general area, you have that. Now, what else do you have here other than the PCZ of a harmonic on the 1 hour chart, which I think the Lump also brought this up in chat. You could see this harmonic on higher time frames. I just have it charted on my 1 hour just for organization purposes. Apart from that, we're also at the 50% retrace on not only the S&P, but also on the NASDAQ. And I'm going to show you that when we go over to the NASDAQ. You can see 50% retrace. Go over to the NASDAQ. Actually, I think it's on my QQQ. It's on one of my charts. I can't remember which one. It's definitely not on that. So it might have just been the S&P and the SPY that I was looking at. But you are at a 50% retrace on the S&P. On the QQQ, you're kind of testing this little low from July 19th. It looks very similar to the NASDAQ. Honestly, the QQQ kind of looks the worst right now because it's kind of far away from support. But if you look at the NASDAQ, you did, in fact, break down from that head and shoulders. But look at this. You went to your next level. And this is what I talked about last week. I said, we're breaking down from this head and shoulders. I think the next level is going to be 14,200. And that's what we did. Today we went down to 14,180 to be more specific, which was a triple top, or at least a resistance that was tested 3 times during this year as resistance. Then it flipped into support on July 19th, and it held as support today. So you have the NASDAQ sitting at probably the most important support or just level on the chart for the whole entire year right now. This is probably the most definitive level that you can get for the NASDAQ from this year's price action, right? It broke above it in June, pretty much the second half of the year, and it's been above it since. We'll see if it can hold it. I don't know if it can hold it. I hope it can hold it. But you had that as well on the NASDAQ. And again, potential for 4 hour classic bullish divergence, oversold RSI, kind of a descending broadening wedge. It's not super filled out. And then on the 1 hour, I think it's actually on a different chart. You have different like XABCDs all over the place. This one's a little bit too perfect, but even if you were to look at it kind of like this, I mean, it's past the 886, but then you can get another harmonic off of this if the QQQ does retrace a little bit lower, right? So if you want a deep crab, that would pretty much be down around 346. But you're starting to get those waves of XABCDs. I think the SPY is the clearest one, but the ARC ETF has another one, okay? On the 1 hour chart, pretty much a deep crab around the 1618 from X to D and the 2618 from B to D, all right? Also on the ARC 1 hour chart, you have classic bullish divergence. The last 2 times the ARC had 1 hour classic bullish divergence was where this blue line is. You could see what happened after the price went up. And then where this blue line is, again, you could see what happened after the price went up. So that's what you have on the ARC ETF if you're a mid-cap growth trader. And then the IWM kind of looks a little bit different compared to the ARC and the S&P and NASDAQ. It's actually been a little bit stronger than all of them in the past couple of weeks. It's really just been going sideways rather than down, which is good, but it didn't really create the same low time frame bullish variables, however. So since it hasn't sold off as much as the other indices, it actually hasn't really created much to talk about on lower time frames. But again, it's still okay for right now as long as it holds above in general, like 215-ish, I guess. But that's my thoughts. I think, you know, we're starting to develop 1 hour and 4 hour bullish technicals for the overall market for the first time, really, since, I mean, we had it for a little bit on that Monday we sold off. Again, like I told you, X-Ray Goggles was talking about how we had that bullish cipher. So last time we had like 1 hour, at least just 1 hour bullish technicals was over here. And that did lead to about a 4% bounce for the S&P. Now, not only do you have 1 hour bullish technicals, but you also have 4 hour bullish technicals. So that's really how I'm looking at the market right now. You know, if these daily head and shoulders continue to play out, you could go a little bit lower or even more lower. Again, I don't know the future, but I just in general think, like, honestly, in this whole entire zone, I think you can see a reversal. I would be surprised if the S&P 500 were to fall under 4,200, because at 4,200 you also have the measured move of this head and shoulders. So I'll show that to all of you. I looked at this earlier today. So around 4,200, 4,199 is your measured move. So you have previous resistance, the golden retrace, a measured move of the head and shoulders, and lower time frames kind of showing some bullish divergences and harmonics and descending broadening wedges. So what I'm hoping for is that those lower time frames lead to some short-term bouncing price action, which could in turn allow the daily to start looking a little bit better. Maybe it allows the S&P to get back above that neckline, and this just kind of be a, you know, head and shoulders could have already been argued that it fell about 2% after the breakdown, and I think we're down about 5% from the highs. But again, it could be going lower. So just my overall feeling, it's okay if we go a little bit lower on the markets. And again, we could go a lot more lower. I don't know the future, but I do think that bullish technicals are finally starting to appear for real since the first time, or for the first time since the beginning of September. So we'll see how all that plays out. Again, none of that certainty, but for the last month or so, I've really, apart from this day over here, I've never really been short-term bullish until like now. So I'm starting to get short-term bullish again. Of course, if some fundamental catalyst comes out, that could change things up, but that's my thoughts on the market right now. And I think it's a little bit obvious, you know, despite the market being down 5% from the highs in 1 month and the NASDAQ having its worst month since February, you know, I was a lot more prepared for this sell-off compared to the past, right? This was last week. This is how the sheet's doing for the first day of the week so far. This was the week before that, you know, not good, but not horrible, which, you know, back in like March and also in the beginning of May when the NASDAQ had a 10% correction, it was like pretty much like all red. So this time around, I was actually able to do a little bit better, or a lot better in my opinion, at risk management in terms of the swings. And now you're seeing, you know, I really only put out a couple swings last week, or I only put out 1 premium swings. I don't remember if I put out a non-premium swing last week. But then today I put out 4 new premium swings. And I also put out PBR if you're not a premium member. So I'm starting to get a little bit more bullish, but again, I don't know for sure. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's how I trade. I don't trade to have to be right all the time. I just trade to maximize my profits when I am right and minimize my losses when I'm wrong. So that's my thoughts on the market right now. Hopefully that was a little bit insightful. Futures are red, like I said. We could go a little bit lower. I think in general for tomorrow, even if, you know, whether we gap down or gap up, right now futures are red. I do think we'll see some sort of a nice little push tomorrow at some point during the day. Today we didn't really get any push higher. We just kind of sold off the whole entire day and we just went sideways in the afternoon. I would be surprised if tomorrow we just had just another sell off the whole entire day type of day. I do think even if we have a week open, based on the 1 hour charts for the indices, I think we could see some sort of a bounce between tomorrow and the day after for sure. Not for sure, but in terms of like probability, that's where the probability lies. But we'll see. All right. So those are my thoughts on the market right now. Keep hitting that like button. Let's get to 40 likes right now. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Let me see what's up in the chat, and then we'll probably talk about CLOV after that. So yeah, and then we'll talk about Fisker. And I'm just going to get this out of the way right now. But earlier in the month, we looked at this down over here. I just wanted to mention this because, again, Wyckoff. When we looked at this earlier in the month, somebody requested it during a taker request. This is SHIB. It's a crypto. I have no clue what it is or what it does or whatever. I think it's another meme crypto. I don't know. But when we looked at it, it was kind of in the middle of this range. But today, since it went crazy, I think it was up like 50% or something. I went back over to the chart. I had a few people message me about it. And I noticed, like, in hindsight, again, I'm saying this in hindsight, I did not call this ahead of time by any means. When I looked at the chart, I literally said I have no clue where it's going to be going to next, and I honestly still don't. But in hindsight, it was kind of like coffeeing, because we look at it like this, right? You kind of sprung right over here, which would have been your phase C. Then you kind of had an LPS over here, and then maybe again over here, and then you broke a creek, and it even back tested the creek. So isn't that like so cool to see? I mean, I wish, you know, CLOV did something like this. It got up to $11, but of course this went up 50. I mean, CLOV did go up 50% too. That's crazy to me. I mean, this went up 50%, CLOV went up 50%, but everybody's talking about this, and nobody was talking about CLOV, or nobody cared when it broke out of its Wyckoff range. But that's a story for another day, I guess. I just wanted to bring it up on stream, just again, because we've been talking about Wyckoff so much in the last 2 months. This is another example of what it could look like. So that was pretty cool. I have no clue where this is going to next. It did just break out of a range it's been in since May, but it is also overbought on the RSI, so contradicting variables. I just wanted to bring it up just to talk about it in hindsight, and we'll see. I mean, I don't know. It's all over social media right now. That could be good, that could be bad. You know, we've seen both of those scenarios this year earlier with things like Dogecoin and GameStop and AMC. But yeah, right now, stock futures, they are red. S&P futures down 0.5%, about the same for Russell futures, and the Nasdaq futures only down about 1/3%. And then the Hang Seng Index gapped down and is falling past the bullish bat PCZ. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. I was pretty much like, yeah, you do have a pretty textbook bullish bat on the Hang Seng Index at a historical price point. But again, with everything going on fundamentally, it's going to be a little bit tough for this to play out. I mean, it would be cool if it did, but just a lot of turbulence in the Chinese market right now. So yeah, that's pretty much a recap of the day. Let me see what's up in the chat, then we can talk about CLOV after. Evergrande has been halted. Has it? I think you said that like last night. Is it like, was it like an intraday halt, or is it just not trading for a while now, like indefinitely, until there's like a more clear, you know, view of the situation? This was the 30th. Yeah, I don't think it's. Yeah, I think it's just like, I don't know. Do they have like a date for when it's going to start trading again, or it's just like they have no clue? Because at first I just thought it was like an intraday halt, maybe because like volatility. But now it's not even showing you candles. So come on, Bitcoin. I would love to see Bitcoin hit the first target live on stream, but it's kind of being very quiet for right now. And my tea is probably cold. All right, let's scroll up in the chat. And the chat's pretty quiet. I don't know. Tell me what's up in the chat. Cheddar Freeze in the chat saying US oil hit 78 for the first time since 2014, since the bullish Gartley, or since the Gartley. I don't know if it was bullish or bearish. I don't want to say that. Cheddar Freeze also says, all right, let me skip this song. It's kind of throwing me off. Yellen in the morning and PMI numbers tomorrow. Some jitters today off the China potential phase 1 trade deal. And we are starting to see rotation to value names. That was another thing I talked about on the stream where I said, I thought that, or I still think that, but I did also then think that right over here on this day, that small caps would start to outperform large caps. And we have seen that so far. You know, the S&P has been selling off. The IWM has been going sideways for the most part. So yeah, I mean, again, you just had large caps running the whole entire, or really since like March, April, honestly, really since May is when a lot of large caps, they just had a really good summer, while a lot of small caps have not even gotten close to retesting their highs from February, which for a lot of them, that's pretty justifiable. But for others, I don't know, it could be debated. Big Nate says, Champ, did you get my message about Solo on TV today? They delivered their first cars. No, I didn't see that. Or I don't remember if I did, but I wish them luck. Ball, I think we'll probably have time for take requests tonight. We should, honestly. But yeah, also let's get some vibes in the chat for Bala. Literally a day one in the chat right now. Hobson plans to acquire 51%. There's a buyer for 51% of real estate owned by them, so trading is halted until it either falls through or passes. I actually didn't know about any of that, so thank you both for telling me. Yeah, for everybody dropping tickers in the chat, we're gonna look at ticker requests after we talk about CLOV, Fisker, PBR, and Trip. So that'll probably take me 25 minutes to talk about those, and then yeah. So let's get started with CLOV. 1 second here. Give me a second. Okay. All right. So first off, CLOV swing failed. This is not the first one that's failed in this downtrend. Honestly, you know, that's the thing about me. You know, I'm very transparent about my failures. Yeah, not too easy to swing trade CLOV during this downtrend. Might be a little bit obvious as to why, but I tried to give it a couple of chances, and no luck again. Like I talked about last week, the week before, the swing is separate from the other coverage I talk about concerning CLOV on the stream. I've been talking about CLOV technically since January when it was IPOC, and we've swing traded it a bunch. If you're a premium member, we've probably traded CLOV calls more than any other option in premium. So yeah, I mean, the way that I look at it, it's kind of strange, but if we were to do this right here, all right, if we were to do this blue line right over here, might be a little bit hard to see, but you could see it. We're gonna split this chart into two. Okay, this is, in terms of like swings, this is how it's been for CLOV, unfortunately, but it's also true. Again, I just love being truthful because it doesn't help anybody for me to, you know, hide failures and lie. But like, this is kind of how I look at it in terms of the swings. Like leading up to this halfway point, pretty much the all-time highs, I mean, we had probably 3 or 4 just amazing swings. We had a swing from right over here to right over here. We had a swing from right over here to up over here. If you're a premium member, you see these 2 little green candles. We day traded both of those days. Like CLOV was just one of the best tickers from like January to like June for me to swing trade up until the high. And then since you know, now, as Mitch Ray would say, we're on the other side of the fence. You know, since then, haven't been able to get a successful swing off. I mean, even on this rally over here, there wasn't a swing. I was talking about it every single day, covering the Wyckoff, and ended up going up 50% in 20 days. But at the time, I was, I think, focused on other swings. But I still was covering every single night on stream and talking about how I was bullish on it. But yeah, like I've said for the last 2 months, the swings are completely separate from the overall coverage I do for CLOV, and then also from the day trades that I do with premium members, which honestly, it's kind of like this. If we're going to be talking about options trades, it's literally like this then, because I don't know the current stats, but the last time I checked it, it was like, I think like 21 for like 26 out of all the calls, or 21 for 27. This was like a few weeks ago, so we've had some more successes and a couple failures since then. But yeah, I mean, for calls, it's just been our bread and butter since June. CLOV calls, CLOV calls, CLOV calls. I mean, it's just been, even on Friday, we did 50% profit playing lottos on CLOV and it had a red day. So yeah, just wanted to recap that. In terms of the technicals, you don't have much of a change, but the price action just currently not following the technicals. That's just the easiest way to put it. Really isn't much of a change, but the price action is still negative. Last week when we had the Back to the Future stream, I said I have this feeling that we're in a bottoming price area. Like it's in the title of the stream right now. CLOV swing failed, but my view is still the same. It is. In terms of the swing, I'm never going to tell you to back hold anything. Nothing I ever says financial advice. If you were playing the swing, you were playing the swing. If you're a long-term investor in CLOV and you're watching for just overall coverage, the thesis I had on the Back to the Future stream is pretty much the same exact thing, even though we're down like 3% since then. Again, it's 3%. But yeah, I'm going to take this off the chart now. It was in the title of the stream. I talked about it on the stream, trying to be as transparent as possible. It's the only failed swing on the sheet right now. Again, when things fail, things fail. That's a part of trading. But still, for me, it's like I'm still trading calls on CLOV, so it doesn't really bother me too much. I've just been trading around my core for CLOV. And yeah, let's talk about the technicals now that we got that out of the way. What's going on with CLOV? What's going on with technicals? Today you sold off. Last night we talked about this bullish pin bar, or last afternoon because I didn't stream at night. We talked about that bullish pin bar and how in the past there have been many bullish pin bars that signal the bottom of a downtrend, like right over here, and right over here, and right over here when we put out a swing trade on the all-time low day back in March. This one didn't work out. So yeah, you sold off again today. Probably was, or it probably had something to do with the overall market being pretty red. The NASDAQ was down 2%. And then also just the overall trend for CLOV not being good. There wasn't really any news. So yeah, you know, it's tough to see it just drop and drop and drop. Again, I try and bring this up as much as possible, but we were, you know, still also talking about it on that 50% run it made in 20 days. And now it's just the other side of the fence, you know, over here. Okay, let me zoom in. Over here, I never said I thought it was bottoming. Over here, over here, over here, over here. Then we had the Back to the Future stream, and in this area, I still think the same thing, that it could be bottoming. Like I said, I think. I don't know. There's no certainty. It's not financial advice. But what's going on with the technicals? With the drop today, not much of any candle read. Classic bullish divergence still has a potential, but it's not currently developing. On the daily, you did break under the 39 level, which was your low from the spring. So I'm going to take that off the chart. You did lose that. I wouldn't say bullish technical, but just a variable to look at on the chart. So your next level on the RSI is actually this level, 36.48, which you're just above. It was your low from May 14th, right over here before it went to all-time highs. And it was also your low on July 16th, pretty much right over here before it moved back up to like, it moved from like 760 to like 9. All right, so that's what I got there. Remember, we were looking at that 2-day chart again. I'm not trading off of this 2-day chart. It's just for a visual thing. I don't use things like this for actual technical analysis, but just to look at how it looks. That makes grammatical sense. Just looks similar, right, to the price action between May or March and May. You have that first rounding bottom, then you have a potential V-shaped bottom, but again, there's no certainty that this is going to happen next. I truly hope it does. I'm just bringing up different point of views. If we go over to the 4-hour, you did have your first candle being a bearish engulfing candle. Sorry, first 4-hour candle was a bearish engulfing candle, second candle kind of nothing, and then again on the 4-hour MACD, potential for classic bullish divergence, but not really developing, and then also broke under an RSI level. So I'm going to take that off the chart. Then if we go over to the 1-hour, this is where it gets a little bit interesting. All right, you have 1-hour classic bullish divergence on both oscillators, and you're at the PCZ of a bullish butterfly. Matt G actually mentioned this on Twitter today. From B to D on a butterfly, you're not supposed to have over a 2618, I believe. Let me just verify that. So again, it's not extremely textbook. I mean, I'd say it's close, but again, if you want to be super perfect, it did, yeah, you're not supposed to get past a 2618, but you did have a 78.6% retrace roughly from X to B, and you are also roughly at the 1618 from X to D. So you have that. If that's not a good harmonic for you, on the 30-minute, remember the bat that failed at 785? Well, what does a failed bullish bat turn into? A potential alternate bat at around the 113 retrace, which you are currently around. And then on the 30-minute, you have triple classic bullish divergence on the MACD. So you have a 30-minute alternate bat, 1-hour somewhat bullish butterfly. You have classic bullish divergence on the 30-minute and the 1-hour. If the 30-minute and 1-hour classic bullish divergence play out, that can lead to 4-hour classic bullish divergence. And then furthermore, daily classic bullish divergence. So pretty similar actually to what I was talking about on the S&P and the NASDAQ, where you have 1-hour divergence, that can maybe help out the 4-hour divergence. And then if that can maybe help out the daily, even though there's no daily divergence on the NASDAQ or the S&P, but yeah. Final thing that I want to talk about before we look at trading ticks, and then we're going to talk about Fisker after. Just in general, this area you could see pretty much, just look at it like this. All right, when CLOV broke 7, it only spent 2 days under that in March. The next time it broke under 7, it only spent about 2 days under. The next time, 2 days under. The time after, about a week under. This whole entire year, CLOV has really never spent more than 2 weeks under $7. So that's what I'd be looking at next. Can 7 hold? Even if $7 does break on CLOV, can it reclaim it quickly? Okay. That's another thing. If CLOV is not able to do that, then that could be a little bit scary. but historically in these areas in general, this is where CLOV has bottomed 4 different times this year. That's all I'm going to say. That's a fact. That's no bias in that. It's a fact. So that's my analysis on CLOV. Sucks at the failed swing, but we did have the 50% move on the Wyckoff idea from over here to over here in 20 days. And again, if you're a premium member, then, you know, we're still trading calls nonstop on CLOV. And I'm not going to say most. I hate saying most of the time because, again, I need to say this now. Past results are not always indicative of the future, but most of the time in the past couple of months, the CLOV calls have worked out well for us. But again, past results are not always indicative of the future. Okay, just legally need to say that. But yeah, that's CLOV. And then finally, before we talk about Fisker, options volume on calls has gone up, but open interest has gone down. IV is also kind of shot back down. I'm not going to go look at that on my other overlay, but I'm telling you what it is. And then options chain is literally about the same, which is actually not bad considering it's been selling off and selling off. You actually have about the same for calls, so not too much of a change there, but a lot of calls have been crushed with IV dropping. So yeah, that's CLOV. Summarize, remember, I talk about CLOV as a swing differently that failed. I talk about CLOV as day trades and premium call trades differently. Most of them in the past 2 months have worked out. And then I also just talk about CLOV long term, and I try and cover it on stream because I know a lot of my viewers care about CLOV. So nothing I ever say is financial advice. And that's CLOV. All right, so keep hitting that like button. Let's get to 50 likes right now. Before I get to Fisker, I just want to give one final reminder to everybody about premium. Then we're going to talk about Fisker, PBR, Trip. After we do that, we're going to do ticket requests. All right. Let me just see if I missed anything in the chat during that. Bala says, thanks, brother. Props to you for your accuracy in this game. Appreciate it. Cheddar Freeze was back when CB used to rock those giant headphones. NASCAR out says CLOV has had a rough go since early September. That is true. Actually, in early September, it did go up 50% in 20 days. But other than that, I'd say probably like the second half of September. Pretty much since 11, CLOV has had a rough go. That's probably a better way to put it. Thomas says, champ, do you still have a position in CLOV? I do. That's just me being honest. You do whatever you want to do. I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm just telling you the truth. Always Seeking says, does payment of premium show real names? So you're just asking about privacy for buyer. I'm a little bit confused by that question. In terms of like the privacy, that's the main reason I use like the memberful website. They pretty much handle the whole entire transaction part of things. And then I have a third-party application that pays me. I'm not going to say what that application is so I don't get hacked. But yeah, the only thing I think I could really see if I really needed to was the last 4 digits of your credit card, just in case you ever need a refund. But again, I'm never ever going to share that information with anybody. And yeah, you put in the name when you sign up for premium. You put in whatever you want your name to be. I personally don't care. So, and then when you're in the Discord, you can name yourself whatever as well. So privacy is really good. That's why I use third-party applications, so that, you know, they're trusted applications and that nobody's data is being misused or whatever. I mean, speaking of all of that, today we had a crazy, it's in the title of the stream, I just forgot to talk about. We had crazy outages with Facebook today. That was insane. I completely forgot to talk about that. But yeah, Facebook, let me add it to the watch list so we can look at the chart later. But yeah, I did forget to talk about that. Interesting stuff going on there. Even my CNBC went down for a little bit. I don't know if that was just my Wi-Fi. I just do that sometimes, but so yeah, I don't know if that answers your questions. Tom says, I think he's asking if the names on the sheet will be shown. Which sheet? I don't know what you mean. I'm just confused by the question. In general, whatever you sign up with premium for, I don't share with anybody else. The only thing that other people see is whatever your Discord name is, because everything for premium is in the Discord. But yeah, if that didn't answer your question, DM me at Champion Vibe on Twitter or DM me on Discord, and I'll, you know, answer that question there. I just might be a little bit confused. All right, so I guess that's a good segue into it. Just really quickly. Now I was talking about our names. Our real names as people. I really still don't get it. Please just message me and just explain it to me further. But the privacy, I'm just in general saying like whatever you can put in whatever you want. The trade sheet taker names. I still don't get it. Just message me, all right? So yeah, premium sale ends tonight. Do not wait until after the stream is over. Literally after the stream is when I'm raising the prices. As soon as I hit end stream, I'm going over to this website and I'm raising the prices. It'll happen within like 5 minutes because I already have everything set up. I just need to click a few buttons. So yeah, this is the final chance until I end the stream, which is probably in like 25 minutes or so. So you have about 25 minutes for the rest of history. Then the prices are going to be going up. $280 a year for annual, and then $35 for your first month of monthly. If you sign up before the stream ends, it's $25 a month forever. You'll be grandfathered in at that rate, no matter how much the price is raised in the future. And then also it'll be $260 annual forever, no matter how much the price is raised in the future. So yeah, I mean, signing up for $260 annual right now would save you $105 compared to waiting till after the stream and getting monthly and holding monthly for a year. So again, it's like, it's only a $5 raise on monthly and a $10 raise on annual after the stream ends. But we also have a sale right now, so technically it's a $10 raise if you're talking about the sale price, and a $20 raise on annual if you're talking about the annual price or the sale price. So yeah, if you want some more explanations as to what is exactly in premium, go to the pinned chat. When you go to the pinned chat, it's going to bring you to this website, and then watch this. It's the overview video I made over the weekend. Just click on the link button and it walks you through everything that's in premium. All right, so all the info's there. You have until the end of the stream, which is probably like 20 minutes. Final chance. We've had like 35 new members in the last like 5 days or something. So thank you all new members. And yeah, just want to bring it up. Final chance forever. I'm really not going to be talking about premium because again, I only talk about premium on the stream if there's a sale or if I'm recapping trades from the day. So for the rest of the month, there's not going to be a sale. And there's never going to be a sale at this price ever again in general, but obviously there's going to be sales in the future, just not this price. But yeah, for the rest of the month, the only times I'm going to be bringing up premium is to recap like maybe some premium trades for education on the stream. But yeah, and I've talked about premium a lot like last 3 or 4 days because there's obviously a reason to. As of right now, I'm going to be going back to what it's normally like, where I just don't talk about it unless we're talking about a trade. All right, final chance. It's a pin chat in the first link in the description, and let's talk about Fisker. All right. Sold off today, actually broke back under the 1450-ish area. Unfortunately, it was holding it for like 3 days. Today it fell under it. It didn't even fill the gap either. So now it's in this really random area going into tomorrow, where you have resistance around 1450 and then you have your gap fill at like 1370. So it's like a 50-50 in terms of which way it goes to next. I don't know. I think honestly, in hindsight, I kind of wish I put like another target just for the 200-day moving average, because that 35% is a little bit like, you know, aggressive, but you know, this is a really insane pattern with pretty good oscillators, but it just not been doing well. I mean, the market hasn't helped either with the NASDAQ having its worst month since February. But yeah, in general, I would just like to see Fisker get back above that mid $14 level. And again, there's no way this is going to be a failed trade because it was already up over 10%. It'll be a break even at worst. But hoping for the best here. We'll see what happens. Then the new one from today, PBR, pretty simple. I wouldn't call it a cup and handle because I don't like calling things cup and handles after you make over a 50% retrace. This made about a 60% retrace. So I would just call it like a cup and wedge. I don't know. But you had a rounding bottom and then you kind of turned that into a falling wedge, which is a bullish continuation pattern. And you're breaking out of the wedge right now in PBR. You have triple classic bullish divergence if you ignore this little island, and then classic bullish divergence on the daily, and it broke back above the 200-day moving average. So pretty simple chart. I mean, targets are just kind of this resistance right under 12, the open to a gap fill at 1329, and then the actual gap fill at 1389. So yeah, not financial advice, just a chart. And finally, Trip. Still looks good to me for right now. Again, I just kind of want to see it hold above 32 in general. It already back tested the supply line last week and bounced off of it. MACD went back over to green, and it's just trying to clear over or clear above this $36 area. That's really what Trip is trying to do right now. So hopefully it can do that in the future. And then Ford already hit the first target. Actually hit the first target again today, and then it kind of sold off again. not the best candle on the daily. Hopefully, it can kind of invalidate that and get to the other targets, but already a winning trade. And that's pretty much the recap. Other than the ongoing trades, Facebook today gapped down. Had a few different pieces of news today, and it also broke this 337 level, which was a resistance from June, a support in July, and a support until today when it gapped under it. So Facebook, I mean, 200-day moving average and a resistance from April both line up at 315. I don't know if it gets there, but I think that's the next technical area for Facebook in general. It is oversold though. On the daily RSI, pretty much, I'm gonna ignore this, but pretty much for the first time since the COVID crash, because I was like barely oversold in January. So yeah, that's Facebook. This all started after it broke out of an upsloping channel as well. So yeah, futures actually bouncing up a little bit throughout the stream. I'll just go over to the 5-minute chart so you can see that. There you go. Those are your futures. It is a little bit delayed though. I have real-time data for NYSE stocks and NASDAQ, but I don't for futures. So a little bit delayed. And yeah, that's pretty much everything. It took me about an hour almost. So we'll have maybe 10-15 minutes for take requests. So I'll probably do Cheddar Freeze, have a good one. Cheddar Freeze says, headed out, have a good one. I'll see you bright and early. FTM Discord. Thank you for dropping the link in the chat. It is also in the description, but thank you for dropping in the chat. And yeah, have a good one, Cheddar Freeze. So yeah, keep hitting that like button, everybody, if you didn't already. Let's get to 50 likes right now. Let's see what's in the chat before we do ticker requests. Don't drop any tickers in just yet. I don't think there's much in the chat though. Austin says, I am confident I'll make back what I paid for annual premium with only a couple trades. I really appreciate all the testimonials and the shout outs. Like on Twitter, I've had a bunch of shout outs the last few days. I really appreciate that. Everybody helps to support me, obviously. And even Jasifu, I don't know if Jasifu or GCFU, I keep messing that up. I'm so sorry. It's just, that's what I used to like think of your name's pronunciation, and now I'm just trying to remember not to say it like that. But GCFU, I don't know if you're still here. He signed up for monthly on Friday, I think, and then today he's like, all right, I'm switching to annual. So I really appreciate all the feedback, and just, you know, again, I'm never gonna act like premium is a cheat code to making money. It's not. It's education. That's what it is. There's swing ideas, options ideas, weekly watch lists, and the new bot that we got called Bullseye Bot from TradyTix. They hooked it up for us, and yeah, we also have that new bot. It's like an algorithm. I'm really not good at all those things, but it's like a bot that has algorithms and does cool stuff and looks for options, and it gives you automated charts and cool stuff. It's in the video. If you go to the pin chat and then you go to the premium page, it'll say overview video. It kind of shows an example there, but appreciate everything. And Matt G is still in the chat. Hope you're doing well. So yeah, let's do take requests for the rest of the stream. Again, I don't know how long I'm gonna do take requests for. So again, when the stream ends and I raise the prices on premium, don't message me saying, oh, I was just signing up for premium and now the price is raised. I'm telling you ahead of time. When the stream's over, that's pretty much when the prices are raising. So don't wait until after, and let's do take requests. All right. Remember, nothing I say is financial advice. Don't request anything that was up over 30% today, and do not request anything that IPO'd within the last month. And also, I'm going to start saying this as well. Don't request OTCs. I'm not looking at OTCs anymore. I'm not telling you that you can't trade them. You can do whatever you want. It's just not going to be a part of the stream. I just don't know enough about them, and I don't like looking at things that I don't understand and talking about things that I don't understand. So yeah, not looking at OTCs anymore. Also, most of the charts are just like straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down. It's just impossible to chart most of them as well. So yeah. All right. Start off with these. Again, I'm sorry if I can't get to all of them tonight. I have to go to college tomorrow morning early, so I'm just gonna try and do however many I can. Smile Direct Club. It was a premium trade. I think it hit the first target and almost the second target. I don't know if I deleted it, but yeah. At this point, I mean, Maybe it's back testing this breakout of this wedge, but there's not much of like an edge currently. I know it has that high short interest, but again, you want more than just a high short interest. So I don't know. I just in general want to see it hold above like 466, I guess. OEG, it's just trying to hold the support around 290-ish. It had triple classic bullish divergence. I mean, maybe in quadruple. It's just not really doing much. I just want to see it bounce here. Otherwise, then I see like 245 is the next support back from like 2017. The trade desk, pretty much at the demand line of a falling wedge right now. There's potential classic bullish divergence, but it's not really developing. And it did break under 68, which has been a support since July. So I'd really like to see it get back above 68 for a little bit more confirmation. TLT, 20-year Treasury bond ETF, kind of broke to the downside this little range it's been in, and then it even flipped the previous support into a resistance. So I would like to see us back above like 146 to be a little bit more confident in it. Otherwise, your mini support's like 143.7. If that breaks, then you got 140.56 resistance from April and support from June. That's really it. I don't really see much to talk about apart from that. URG, hidden bullish divergence on the 4-hour chart on both oscillators. Maybe you could look at this as like a bull flag that just broke out of. I like to see it kind of hold above like this like 160-ish area. And yeah, that's about it. Charge point broke under a support, which was pretty much like 1950-ish. So now it's testing the next support, which was the high from November 9th of last year, or November 9th of last year. If that breaks, then it's really hard to kind of pick one. You could really just pick any of these highs, but it's just not a lot of data under 1953. I would like to see it get back above 1953 for me to like charge point as a chart right now, because that was a quadruple bottom. It held it the whole year up until Friday. FFIE, this was kind of like a failed dragon pattern. It's just retesting this 880 support. If that breaks, then you really don't have any other support left apart from Fibonacci extensions. So yeah, I mean, this is the area where I'd like to see it bounce. I don't know if it will bounce here. Microvision also out of support. This was a low from March and April of this year, $10.16. If that breaks, and I think the next support is $8.45. If that holds, I think the next resistance is around 13. I don't see much of a pattern, and you are slightly oversold on your daily RSI. Litecoin, really choppy chart right now. In general, I think I want to see Litecoin above 190. That's this resistance where you double topped at and then even retested it, and it's your 200-day moving average. So I want to see a break above that, and I'd say support's just 140. It's kind of in between them, so it might just depend on Bitcoin. TLRY, I want to see get back above like this $12 area where I had this alert at. It is kind of in this wedge. This is not my idea. Somebody else on Twitter shared this and I just kind of threw it onto my chart, but yeah, it's kind of in this long-term wedge. I mean, still could be a little bit more downside room in the wedge itself, but in general, that 1276 area is just a huge level. I would like to see it reclaim to be more confident. FCX is in a falling wedge. Okay, I guess like 3145 is kind of your support, and 3418 is your resistance. You're in between the two of them. Could kind of argue that there's a little bit of classic bullish divergence on the daily from this low to this low, and it's currently playing out, but just kind of going sideways. TEL, it's we looked at this recently. It's just testing this resistance area around 415. Kind of rejected it today at high 410. So yeah, those are your levels. I don't really see much of a pattern apart from all those levels. So those are all your levels. ANY is just testing this 568 support. A little bit of hidden bullish divergence developing on the daily and on the 4-hour kind of. So I just want to see it hold above 560. I don't really see much of a pattern. It's just kind of in a range. Top of the range is 761. All right. JG says, are you streaming tomorrow? I think Medi will be streaming tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. If Medi doesn't stream, then I will stream, but I'll just be late. All right.
Or I may be at the funeral of a computer.
Is he bringing maple syrup? I hope he does. I don't know. Wow, we just got 2 new annual members in like the last 5 minutes. So thank you to both the new annual members. I don't want to say your names in case you don't want me to, but really appreciate all the support. Probably only gonna be live for like another 5 minutes or so. So this is like your final 5 to 10 minutes to get in before the sale ends and before the price raises. It's not just a price raise, it's also a sale combined. One more like to hit 50 likes. Shopify. Let me fix that. This 1279 area is a previous resistance, and it kind of acted around, got down to 1285, but hopefully it can act as your support. Maybe it's a harmonic. We'll take a look. Maybe a butterfly. Let's see. Not deep enough for a butterfly just yet. I mean, there's a few different ways you could look at it, I guess, but I don't think your C point is going to be high enough like this, but we'll see. Actually, it. So let's see if we look at it like that. It's just way too long on B to D at that point. So let's just look at it like this. A little bit of like a descending broadening wedge, kind of. No divergence currently on the daily, but it is oversold on the RSI, or sorry, I'm on the 4-hour. And then on the daily, it is also just about oversold in the RSI. So yeah, I just want to see hold above 79 pretty much. That's the level. Futures, oh, NASDAQ futures actually went back to green. So those were down like 1/3%. So nice bounce on futures. Bitcoin pulling back a little bit, but not that much. Got some vibes in the chat right now.
I know what I want and I take it.
All right, let me just skip that song. Alright, so that'll probably be it for take requests tonight. But yeah, I mean, going into tomorrow, we already talked about the market. Starting to get a little bit short-term bullish because of the 1-hour and the 4-hour charts on the indices, but still the daily is, could be argued as, I mean, it is, you have a bearish pattern on the daily, so I'm just hoping that the lower time frames can start to invalidate the higher time frame bearish technicals. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking for a bounce this week. I don't know if there's going to be a bounce, but I'm looking for a bounce really between tomorrow and Wednesday for the overall market to maybe retest the neckline on the S&P around 4370. You can see with support from July and really until it broke in September. But I'm looking for a retest, hopefully. I mean, I don't know if we're going to get that type of retest this week because that's almost 2% bounce, but I'm hoping that we can see that. And then if/when we do retest on the S&P, I'll reassess how I feel about the market, depending on how we react to that level, if/when we're there. In terms of CLOV, swing failed, but we're still trading options, and a lot of the options have gone pretty well in the last 2 months if you're a premium member. And, you know, for me personally on CLOV, I still have a core position. I'm kind of planning on, I have been, and I'm still planning to trade around it. I did not do a good job last week of trading around it, so we'll see this week. Yeah, that's just kind of my thoughts on CLOV in the market. For Fisker, I just want to see it get back above 1450-ish. For Trip, I want to see it hold above 37. I'd love to see PBR get above 12. I'm just trying to throw a bunch of different thoughts from the overall stream, just like a little bit of a summary. Yeah, futures are a little bit volatile tonight, so we'll see what happens in the morning. And that's really my thoughts on everything right now. So get on the stream shortly here. Probably go to the end screen for a little bit, and you'll have like 1 or 2 minutes as a final opportunity to sign up. And then as soon as you see the stream end, I'll be going over to the you know, the what's it called? How do I call this? Like the console, whatever controls like the premium stuff. I'll be going over to that and I'll be raising the prices. But I really appreciate all of you for all support. Been streaming for like a year now, and it's just been a crazy journey, life-changing stuff. So appreciate all the support. Have a great night, and good luck trading in the market tomorrow. Peace out.
Can I stay a bit longer?
$500. We'll do 200. I don't want to make it unfair for everybody who's actually like playing the games and stuff.
What do you mean you hate jazz?
Just means that when I listen to it, I don't like it.
Yeah, but it's such a blanket statement you don't like jazz. What do you
Nobody is entering. You all are watching the stream. Maddie says I'm supposed to be studying for exams. I am too. I have midterm tomorrow. I have a midterm tomorrow. If you're watching the stream and you're not in the Discord, the link's in the description. Also, please note, if you're not in the Discord, this is not a real casino. It's all they're just games. There's no actual money involved here. I just want to make that clear in case you're not familiar with the Discord. They're literally called vibe coins. They're not actual money, surprisingly. I'm I'm gonna end the stream whenever somebody wins this. But yeah, you have like 2 or 3 minutes before the premium prices go up. That's the pin chat. And we're still waiting for a winner. And 15. Alright, so it should be ending like right now. No? Why did it not work? Alright, I don't know what happened with the... we just like rerun it? Oh, there... oh my gosh, no way, dude. Medi already won today. There were 4 people. Who was in it? Wow. No way. Alright. Well, everybody had a fair chance. There you go. What's the list now? Oh my gosh, Medi went to first because of that. I'm in 6. Alright, let's just end the stream on this. I have 208. I'm gonna close my eyes. Alright, let's see. I got 5 and 6. No. Oh wait, what? Oh, that's 11. Oh my gosh. Alright, well, that's twice in a row now. Alright, so wow. Well, that's awesome. I started with 88, so I did slash daily, and I got 88 in the afternoon, and that 88 is now 416 vibe coins. Ain't that cool? All I really did was I did slash dice twice, and I'm 2 for 2 on my dices. So yeah, 4x. What can I say? I guess I'm a little bit lucky, but remember, this is all fake. It's not real money or anything. And gambling addiction is real. If you have any sort of gambling addictions, just message me and I'll block you from seeing this channel. It's all just fake simulator stuff. Alright, have a great night. Premium sales landing in a few minutes, and I'm out.